My name is Olivia. I used to believe that families were built on trust, shared values, and kindness. But after moving into my husband's home, I learned something else. Some truths hide in silence, others hide in the dark, and some, my Rex sees before anyone else. Rex has been with me since he was a puppy. A purebred German shepherd with amber eyes and instincts sharper than any person I have ever met. He's protective, gentle, unbelievably smart, and somehow, he senses things humans miss. When I got married, I brought Rex with me. I thought he would struggle in a new environment, with new rules, new faces, and especially with my mother-in-law, Linda. But Rex adjusted quickly in every way, except one. Every time Linda walked into our bedroom, Rex would stiffen. He'd get up from the corner rug, stand between her and our dresser, and let out this low, vibrating growl. Not loud enough to be aggressive, but clear enough to be a warning. I tried everything to correct him, training commands, light taps, treats, but Rex never behaved this way with anyone else. Only her. "Olivia, you need to train that animal," Linda snapped once, pulling back sharply as Rex stood in front of her. "He acts like I'm the intruder here." I smiled politely, apologizing. But inside, something felt off. You see, Rex has never misjudged a person. When he loves someone, he runs straight into their arms. When he dislikes someone, he keeps his distance. And when he senses danger, that growl, deep and unsettling, appears. Still, I pushed that worry aside. We had just gotten married. I didn't need more tension. But then, money started disappearing. The first time, it was $50 missing from my wallet. I told myself I must have dropped it. The second time, it was $200 I hid inside a book. I convinced myself I had misplaced it. The third time, money I received for helping my friend babysit was gone the next morning. There's a special kind of fear that comes from losing something you know you didn't lose on your own. But how do you accuse someone? Especially when that someone is your mother-in-law, the woman who kept insisting, "Honey, don't worry about money. I'll manage everything. You're part of the family now." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe in family. But then Rex started acting differently. He began following Linda around the house, not in a friendly way, but like he was monitoring every step she took. At night, he'd sleep closer to my side of the bed, always facing the door. His ears stayed perked, as if he expected someone to enter the room. Sometimes I'd wake up in the dark and find him already awake, sitting silently, eyes fixed on the hallway. I didn't understand then, but I would. Soon. One Thursday afternoon, I came home early from work. The house was quiet. Ethan was still at the office, and Linda was supposed to be out for her doctor's appointment. I walked into the living room, calling out softly, "Rex, where are you, boy?" No response. That was unusual. Rex always runs to greet me, tail wagging like a helicopter. I found him standing at the far end of the hallway, rigid, alert, staring at Linda's bedroom door. "Rex," I whispered, stepping closer. He didn't look at me, not even a glance. Instead, he let out the lowest, darkest growl I had ever heard. My skin prickled. "What is it?" I kneeled next to him. He sniffed the floor, then the doorknob, and as if telling me exactly what to do. He lifted his paw, pressed it against the door, and looked directly into my eyes. A request, a warning, a plea. Slowly, I turned the knob. The room smelled like perfume, heavy, suffocating. Everything seemed normal at first. Neatly arranged bed, dresser polished, curtains slightly open. But Rex ignored all that. He walked straight to the closet. He sniffed once, then again. And suddenly, his entire body tensed. He scratched the floor, once, twice. Then he gripped the bottom of a shoebox with his teeth and dragged it out. I froze. It was my shoebox, from my old apartment. I had used that box to store small savings, tips, side job earnings, money from my mom. My hands shook as I lifted the lid. Inside were envelopes, dozens, all addressed to me, all opened. Inside each envelope, there was no money, not a dollar. My vision blurred. She had taken everything, every single cent I had saved, every bit of financial independence I had tried to keep. Gone. I sat on the floor, shaking, the envelope slipping from my fingers like dying leaves. Rex nudged them toward me gently, like he was telling me, "You needed to see this." "How long?" My voice broke. That's when the front door opened. Linda's voice echoed through the hallway. Olivia, are you home already? Rex growled so loudly the door vibrated. I scrambled to put the lid back on the box, but I wasn't fast enough. Linda stepped into the room, eyes narrowing the moment she saw what was in my lap. What are you doing? Her voice cracked like a whip. My heart hammered in my throat. I found these in your closet, I whispered. She didn't deny it. She didn't even try. Instead, she walked toward me with a cold, controlled expression and said, You should not be going through my things. That's extremely disrespectful. Why do you have my money? It came out broken, small, but steady. She sighed dramatically, folding her arms. Oh, sweetheart, you're so naive. You spend too easily. I was saving it for you. Saving? By taking it without asking? Well, someone has to manage the finances. You're a young wife now. You don't need pocket money lying around tempting you to waste it. My jaw trembled. That wasn't your decision to make. Rex stepped in front of me, slightly lowering his head, ready to protect. Linda glared at him. That dog has always been a problem in this house. No, said softly. He's the only one telling the truth. Her eyes hardened. You listen to a dog over your own family? I clutched the shoebox to my chest. Right now? Yes. Her face twisted with anger. And that's when something in me snapped. Quietly, peacefully, powerfully. I stood up, met her eyes, and whispered, Don't ever touch my things again. Her mouth fell open. She wasn't used to me pushing back. She wasn't used to anyone pushing back. Before she could respond, Rex stepped forward with a forceful bark. Boom! So loud the walls shook. It made Linda stumble back a step. I felt Rex lean against my leg. Solid, warm, unmovable. And for the first time since moving into that house, I wasn't afraid. Not anymore. Rex's bark still echoed in the room when Linda finally found her voice. Control your animal, she screamed. He just tried to attack me. I stared at her, stunned. Rex hadn't moved toward her at all. He had stayed by my side, barking once, loud and sharp. A warning, a shield. He didn't attack you, I said quietly. He barked. He's protecting me. From what, Olivia? Linda hissed. From your Emil? From the person who let you live in her house, eat her food, share her son's life? Her words were sharp, designed to cut. I swallowed. From the person who stole my money, I answered. Rex let out another low rumble, as if to underline my words. For a split second I saw it, a flicker of guilt in her eyes. Then the mask snapped back into place. You ungrateful girl, she spat. You wouldn't even have money if it weren't for this house, this family. Everything that comes in here belongs to the household. That's how real families work. No, I whispered. That's how control works. Her lips curled. You think Ethan will take your side, over mine? I raised him. I paid for his college. I built this house. You've been here for, 18 months? You're temporary. The word hit me like a slap. Temporary. Rex pressed closer to me, his body warm against my leg, his eyes never leaving Linda. You shouldn't have gone through my room, she continued, voice cold now. If you put those envelopes back where you found them and forget whatever silly ideas you've got in your head, we can go back to normal. Normal? How many times had I told myself that word and swallowed my doubts? Rex huffed, almost like he was disgusted. I straightened my spine. I'm not putting them back, I said. They're mine. I'm taking them. Her nostrils flared. Over my dead body. We stared at each other, her eyes full of fury, mine full of something she didn't recognize yet. Resolve. A car door slammed outside. Ethan. For a second, relief flooded me, then fear. Because this could go one of two ways, and I honestly didn't know which man would walk through that bedroom door. The son who believed his mother was an angel, or the husband who claimed he loved me more than anything. Rex was already moving. He dashed to the hallway, nails clicking on the floor, then came back, tail wagging nervously, whining low in his throat as if trying to hurry me. I gathered the opened envelopes into the shoebox, holding it tight to my chest. Linda took one step forward. You say one word about this to my son, she hissed, and I swear, Olivia, I will make your life in this family a living hell. I will tell him you're hysterical, that you're unstable, that that dog is dangerous, and he will believe me. He always has. There it was, the real threat. Not just about the money, about Rex. You want to get rid of him, I realized, my voice barely a whisper. Her silence was answer enough. He's not just a dog, I said. He's family. Her smile was icy. Not for long. The conversation in the living room felt like walking into a courtroom where the judge was already biased. Ethan sat on the couch, shoulders stiff, hands locked together. Linda sat opposite him, eyes red like she'd been crying, a tissue clutched dramatically in her hand. Rex stayed glued to my side, his head level with my hip, his gaze moving between the two of them. Olivia, Ethan began carefully. Mom told me there was some misunderstanding. I almost laughed. Misunderstanding. She's accusing me of stealing from her, Linda broke in, voice trembling. After everything I've done for this family, after I let her bring that animal into this house, even though I never wanted a dog here in the first place. Rex's ear twitched. I took a breath. I found my envelopes in her closet, Ethan. Opened, empty. These... I placed the shoebox on the coffee table, were all the savings, gifts, and cash I had kept since I moved in. They're all gone. Ethan looked from me, to the envelopes, to his mother. Mom, he asked quietly, did you take them? Linda let out a broken sound, somewhere between a sob and a laugh. I handled them, she said. For the family. She's young. She doesn't understand that marriage means everything is shared. I didn't steal anything, Ethan. I just moved her money into safer places. I was going to use it to help pay the mortgage, the bills, your car insurance. We are one household. Why is she talking like we're strangers? Her tears slipped down her cheeks at perfect moments. If I hadn't seen that shoebox myself, I might have believed her. But Rex didn't. He stood there, watching her with a hard, steady gaze. Did you tell me, Ethan asked slowly, that you took her money to help with bills? Linda hesitated. I shouldn't have had to, she replied. You two live here rent-free. I make the payments. I buy the groceries. I handle everything. You both freely give me your checks every month without question. Why should hers be any different? Ethan's jaw tensed. That's not what this is about, I said quietly. This is about consent. Nobody asked me. Nobody told me. It was my money, my mother's gift, my salary. And it was hidden in your closet, Linda, not in a family safe, in a shoebox, under your clothes. The room went very still. Ethan rubbed his forehead. Mom, is that true? He asked. For a moment I saw it again, the crack in her performance. She looked at Rex, at the shoebox, at me. Then she sniffed loudly, straightened her back, and said, You're really going to take her side because of a dog and some envelopes, after all I've sacrificed? I raised you alone after your father died. I worked 2 jobs. I held this family together. And now this girl, who barely knows how the world works, comes in and accuses me? She's turning you against me. Rex let out a sharp, angry bark. It startled all 3 of us. He moved closer to Ethan now, sat down deliberately at his feet, and stared straight up into his face. Ethan looked down at him, then at me, then at his mother. Rex whined softly. It sounded almost like he was begging Ethan to see clearly. Mom, Ethan said finally, his voice lower now. I love you. You know that. But you can't take Olivia's money without telling her. That's not right. You should have talked to us. She's exaggerating, Linda said quickly. She probably spent it and forgot. Or maybe she dropped it somewhere. Young girls these days. Mom, Ethan's voice cut through. The envelopes with her name on them were in your closet. That's not an accident. Her face hardened. So, you're accusing me too now? I'm saying, this isn't okay. Silence, heavy, fragile. Then she narrowed her eyes. It's that dog, she said suddenly. Ever since he came here, everything has gone wrong. I told you not to let her bring him. He's aggressive. He barks at me. He makes the whole house feel tense. He's ruining our peace. No, Mom, Ethan replied. Rex isn't the problem. Yes, he is, she said sharply. He stood in front of me today like he wanted to attack. He's dangerous. If you two want to stay in this house, that dog goes. You choose, your mother or that dog. The air left my lungs in one painful rush. There it was, the line in the sand. Ethan's hands clenched. Mom, that's not fair, he said. You know how much Rex means to Olivia? He's family. Linda scoffed. Family? He's an animal. I am your mother. I'm the one who gave you life. I'm the one who pays the mortgage for this roof over your head. If she loves that dog so much, she can move out with him and see how far she gets without our help. Every word was a weapon. Rex pressed closer to my leg, but didn't make a sound now. He just watched. Ethan looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in a long while, saw the way my fingers shook, saw the tears I was fighting, saw the dog standing guard like a soldier in our living room. He took a slow breath and asked, almost to himself, when did this house start feeling like a prison? Linda's expression shuddered. What did you say? Ethan straightened. Mom, we're grateful for everything you've done, truly. But you can't control us like this. You can't threaten to take away our home, our stability, or Olivia's dog whenever you don't get your way. That's not love. That's control. Her jaw dropped. How dare you speak to me like that? After all We're moving out, he said. The words dropped like stones. Rex's ears perked. Linda went pale. What? We're moving out, Ethan repeated. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be next week. But I am going to find us a place. Just me, Olivia, and Rex. And from now on, our finances stay with us. If we help with bills, it will be because we choose to. Not because you take without asking. Her hand trembled, then her face twisted. You're throwing me away for them, she whispered. For her, for that dog. No, Ethan said softly. I'm choosing to be a husband. I should have done it earlier. Rex stood, stepped forward, and rested his head gently on Ethan's knee. It broke something in me, in a good way. For the first time, I saw my husband stand between me and his mother, not the other way around. And Rex? Rex had guided us here. The next few days were a blur of tension. Linda didn't speak to me unless it was absolutely necessary. Doors closed louder than usual, drawers slammed, cabinets banged. The silent war had begun. But something had shifted. Every time she walked into a room, Rex would stand between us. Not growling now, just there, present. A living, breathing reminder that I wasn't alone. At night, Ethan and I lay awake, whispering about apartment listings, budgets, neighborhoods. I should have cut the cord sooner, he said one evening, staring at the ceiling. I didn't realize how much she was controlling everything. I just thought I was helping. She built her whole life around you, I said. Letting go is hard. So she steals from my wife? I had no answer for that. Rex sighed and repositioned himself, dropping his head across my ankles. The weight was comforting. We'll find a place, Ethan said. It might be small, it might be rough at first, but it will be ours, our rules, our space, our bank accounts. And Rex, I added. And Rex, he agreed, smiling softly in the dark. But Linda wasn't going to let go that easily, and Rex knew it, long before we did. The quieter the house became, the louder the danger grew. Linda stopped yelling, stopped blaming, stopped arguing. And that terrified me more than anything, because silence is when people plan. Rex felt it first. He grew restless. He paced hallways at night, sniffing corners, checking doors, circling me like a shadow that refused to loosen. Sometimes he stopped suddenly, head lifting, ears pointed, eyes fixed on the hallway as if someone, something, was moving where we couldn't see. Rex, I whispered once, feeling my skin tighten. What is it? He didn't bark, didn't growl, just stood stone still, staring at the dark, waiting. That was when I realized Linda wasn't done. She was preparing, and Rex was bracing for whatever was coming. 3 days after Ethan confronted her, Linda softened, too suddenly. Olivia, she called out sweetly one afternoon, do you want some tea, dear? Rex immediately stood up, walking between us to block her path. Linda forced a smile. Still guarding you, huh? She said, voice sugary. Well, that's what dogs do. They sense emotions. Rex didn't move. I forced a polite tone. No thank you, Linda. I'm fine. Oh, nonsense, she insisted. You must be exhausted. Let me bring it to you. That was when Rex's entire back rose in a ridge. His fur bristled. He didn't growl, but his teeth showed, just barely, the way he sometimes did at the vet. Linda's eyes chilled. I said I'll bring you tea, she repeated. No, I said more firmly. I don't want any. A flicker, quick, sharp, crossed her face. Annoyance, then frustration, then something colder. She walked away, slamming the cabinet louder than normal. Rex didn't sit down for almost 10 minutes. Why would she insist so hard? Why force it? Why now? Then it hit me. The tea wasn't kindness. It was a move, a test, a trap, or something worse. And Rex knew. That night, I told Ethan everything. How she softened, how she insisted, how Rex reacted. He sighed and pulled me close. Liv, she's hurt. She feels betrayed. Maybe she's trying to make peace. Peace doesn't come in a cup you force someone to drink, I whispered. He hesitated, then nodded slowly. You're right, something doesn't feel right. Rex lifted his head, watching us both, then stood and placed his paw on Ethan's knee, an act he rarely did. What are you telling me, buddy? Ethan murmured. Rex held his gaze. And for the first time, Ethan truly saw it. Rex was warning him too. The next morning, something changed. Linda's door stayed closed. No footsteps, no banging cabinets, no passive-aggressive humming, just silence. Rex refused to leave the bedroom. He lay near the door, eyes fixed on the hallway again, ears twitching at every sound. Around noon, Ethan knocked on his mother's door. Mom, you okay? No answer. We exchanged a look. Finally, Ethan turned the knob. It wasn't locked. Linda was sitting at her desk, back turned toward us, writing something furiously in a notebook. Mom? Ethan asked. She didn't turn around, didn't stop writing. Finally, she spoke, in a voice silkier than poison. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just making a list. What list? Ethan asked. A list of all the things she's done to tear this family apart. My stomach dropped. Rex growled. Slowly, Linda turned her chair toward us. Her eyes weren't angry anymore. They were calm, too calm. I've decided something, she said quietly. I'm filing a formal complaint. Ethan blinked. A complaint? Against who? Against her, she said, pointing at me. And that beast. A pulse hammered behind my ears. What are you talking about? Ethan demanded. Linda lifted a paper, neatly written, detailed. I am going to the Homeowners Association and the local animal control office. I'm reporting Rex as aggressive and dangerous. I'm also informing them that Olivia has been emotionally unstable, disrespectful, and volatile. Her behavior worries me. I fear for this household's safety. What? Ethan's voice cracked. I couldn't breathe. Rex froze, muscles tight like cables. Linda continued calmly, like she was reciting a shopping list. I'll tell them he bared his teeth at me, that he lunged, that I barely escaped being bitten, and I'll tell them you two refuse to control him. They'll remove him from the property, and since she refuses to separate from the dog, I imagine she'll leave with him. My world spun. Mom, stop, Ethan snapped. You can't do that. Rex never attacked you. He never lunged. You're lying. She shrugged lightly. Who do you think they'll believe? A grieving widow, mother of a respected engineer, living in this neighborhood for 20 years? Or a girl who's been here 18 months and a dog who snarls at me? Her smile widened. Evidence can be shaped. Rex stepped forward, positioning himself in front of me again. He didn't bark, didn't growl, just stood with unbreakable calm and loyalty. And in that moment, I understood something chilling. She wasn't controlling money anymore. She was controlling the narrative, and narratives destroy lives. Ethan was shaking. Mom, listen to me, he said, voice cracking. This is extreme. This is wrong. This isn't who you are. She looked at him like he was a stranger. You were mine, she said softly. My son, my world, my everything. Until she came, until that dog came. You used to tell me everything. Now you whisper behind my back. Now you challenge me. Now you side with her. Ethan's eyes softened. Mom, I grew up. That's what sons do. Her jaw clenched. No, she whispered. Sons stay loyal. Sons honor their mothers. Sons don't abandon the woman who gave them life. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Real or not, I couldn't tell. Then she said the sentence that would change everything. If you walk out of this house with her and that animal, don't come back. Rex tensed. His ears twitched. His teeth showed. Quietly, a warning. Ethan took a deep breath. And then, his voice broke, but his words didn't tremble. Then I guess, This isn't our home anymore. Linda gasped, like the air had been punched out of her. You're choosing her? She cried. Over me! I'm choosing the family I'm building, he said softly. Not the one keeping me a child. Rex moved closer, touching Ethan's leg with his head, almost like saying, you did the right thing. But Linda wasn't done, not even close. Her voice hardened to steel. If you leave, she said coldly, you leave with nothing, no savings, no help, no inheritance. You'll struggle. You'll suffer. She'll drag you down. And that dog, she spat the word, won't save you. Ethan looked at Rex, then at me, then at his mother. Rex already did, he said quietly. We left her room, left her threats, left her list. But we didn't leave the danger, because Rex, who had been silent the whole confrontation, suddenly lifted his head. He sniffed the air, turned toward the hallway. Tense, alert, focused. What is it? I whispered. He walked toward the back entrance of the house, the one rarely used, the one Linda always kept locked, except now, it wasn't. The lock was scratched, bent, forced. Someone had tried to break in, but not recently. Rex led us to the laundry room corner, and there, behind the dryer, he nudged something out with his nose, a notebook, Linda's handwriting, inside, dates, times, observations, arguments recorded, moments twisted, things I said taken out of context. Every time Rex barked written as attack behavior, evidence, fabricated, calculated, prepared. This wasn't about money anymore. This was a full plan to remove me and Rex from Ethan's life, and Rex had just uncovered it. Again. When Rex dropped the notebook at Ethan's feet, my husband finally understood the full truth. This wasn't just a controlling mother. This was manipulation, delusion, possession, and Rex, our Rex, had been trying to expose it long before either of us were ready to see it. Ethan gripped the notebook, his jaw tightened. We're leaving tonight, he whispered. I swallowed. What about your mother? He took a shaky breath. I'll talk to her, one last time, but I'm not staying here another day. And Rex nudged my hand with his nose, as if promising, I won't let anything happen to you, not now, not ever. Ethan didn't wait. He grabbed the notebook, tucked it under his arm, and headed straight back down the hall. Rex walked beside him, shoulder brushing his leg, tail low, but steady. I followed, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Linda was still in her room, sitting at the desk, staring at the wall like she'd been carved out of stone. Mom, Ethan said quietly. She blinked, turned slowly, eyes rimmed red but dry now. If you're here to apologize, she said, I'll listen. I'm not here to apologize, he replied, her jaw clenched. He set the notebook down on the desk in front of her. What's this? She asked, though I could tell from the flicker in her gaze, she already knew. You tell me, Ethan said. You wrote it. Her fingers hovered over the cover. It's just notes for my therapist, for the HOA, for animal control. You two make me anxious. I have to document things. Ethan opened it to the middle, to a page where, in precise handwriting, Linda had written, AUG 14. Rex lunged toward me in the hallway, barely avoided a bite. Olivia laughed. Ethan ignored. It never happened. I remembered that day. Rex had barked once because she tripped over his toy. He had backed up, not forward. I had asked if she was okay. Ethan had picked up the toy and apologized, but on paper, we were monsters. AUG 21. Olivia screamed at me in the kitchen, unstable, said she'd pay me back one day. I fear for my safety. We had disagreed about cleaning products. No screaming, just a normal, tense conversation like thousands of families have. Sep 3, dog barred my path to the bedroom, growled, teeth exposed. I don't feel safe in my own home. Rex had stood in the doorway while she tried to enter our room unannounced. He didn't bare his teeth. He barely even made a noise. The exaggeration was masterful. Enough truth to look plausible. Enough distortion to poison everything. How long have you been writing this? Ethan asked. Linda stared at the page, then closed the notebook with a snap. Long enough? She said. To do what? He pressed. To protect myself, she answered. From her, from that dog, from the day you finally decide I'm no longer convenient. Convenient? Ethan repeated. Mom, you're my mother. This isn't about convenience. It's about boundaries, about respect. Respect? Her voice rose. You stand here accusing me, waving my own notes in my face, taking her side, her and that beast. And you dare talk about respect? Rex let out a low rumble, not at her volume, at her energy. He felt the shift before we did. I'm not waving anything, Ethan said, keeping his voice level. I'm showing you what you're planning to do. You weren't going to talk to us. You weren't going to ask us to leave. You were going to attack our reputation, call authorities, have Rex labeled dangerous, have Olivia labeled unstable. You weren't trying to protect yourself, Mom. You were trying to destroy us. Linda's face twisted, the calm mask cracking. I was trying to get my son back, she cried. You think I don't see it? Every time she whispers in your ear? Every time that dog stands between us like I'm some kind of threat? You used to come home and hug me first. You used to tell me everything. Now I find out about your life like some outsider. Do you know what that feels like? Yes, Ethan said softly. It feels like being married to someone whose mother reads their bank statements and hides their wife's money in a shoebox. Her shoulders jerked. That's not the same. It is, he insisted. It's about control, about needing to be the center of everything. Mom, I love you, I always will. But this, he gestured around the room, at the notebook, the shoebox, the tension filling the air. This is not love, this is fear, and I can't live in it anymore. Silence swallowed the room. Rex stepped closer to me. I could feel his heartbeat against my leg. He was so still, so focused, that it felt like he was holding the whole moment in place. So that's it, Linda whispered. You're leaving. You're choosing them. I'm choosing myself, Ethan said. I'm choosing a life where I'm not treated like a child, where my wife isn't treated like an intruder, where our dog isn't treated like an enemy. And what happens when she leaves you? Linda demanded. What happens when that dog dies? You'll come crawling back and I'll be gone. You'll regret this. Ethan shook his head slowly. If that's how you see me, he said, then we're already gone. He reached for my hand. Come on, Liv. We turned to leave. Don't you dare walk away from me, Linda shouted, standing up so fast her chair toppled. You walk out that door, and I swear I'll... Her foot caught the edge of the chair. She stumbled. It happened fast. Too fast for human reflex. She pitched forward, arms flailing, head angled dangerously toward the sharp corner of the dresser. My breath seized, but Rex was already moving. He launched forward, powerful and precise, slamming his body sideways into her legs. The force changed her trajectory just enough. Instead of cracking her skull on the dresser corner, she crashed onto the bed. The impact knocked the air from her lungs, but she was alive, conscious, whole. Rex stood between her and the furniture, panting, eyes wide, tail still. He had just saved the woman who wanted to get rid of him. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Linda looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time since I'd moved in. She saw his chest heaving, saw the line between where he'd chosen to push, not knock her down, saw the bruise already forming on his own shoulder from the collision with the bed frame. You, she whispered. Rex lowered his head slightly, not submissive, not angry, just there, present. The same dog she'd written dangerous next to in her notebook had just prevented her from serious harm. You could have let her fall, Ethan said quietly, but he didn't. Linda swallowed hard. Her eyes glossed with something that wasn't quite tears and wasn't quite regret. What if he'd missed? She whispered, clinging to the last of her certainty. What if he'd pushed me into something worse? But he didn't, I said. He never has. He never attacked you. He never bit you. He never lunged. All he's done is warn and protect. You might hate me. You might resent losing control. But you cannot rewrite what just happened. Rex stepped back a bit, giving her space. She sat there, shoulders shaking, fingers digging into the comforter. For the first time, she looked small. I was so afraid, she murmured, so afraid you'd leave and never look back, that I'd be alone, forgotten. Her voice cracked on the last word. I understood something then. Under all the manipulation, all the control, all the lies, was a woman terrified of being abandoned. It didn't excuse anything, but it explained everything. "Mom," Ethan said gently, taking a step closer, "we're not disappearing. We're just growing up. Starting our own home doesn't mean you stop mattering. It just means you stop deciding everything." She stared at him. At least let me help pick the apartment," she tried weakly. "Or manage your accounts, or—" "Mom," he said, softly but firmly. "No." She flinched as if the word physically struck her. Then she looked at Rex again, the dog who growled when she crossed boundaries, the dog who exposed her shoebox and her notebook, the dog who saved her from the dresser corner. "You really trust him, don't you?" she asked. I nodded. "With my life," I said. "With Ethan's, with our future kids too." She let out a long, shuddering breath. "I don't know how to not control everything," she admitted. "It's all I've done since your father died. If I stopped, everything felt like it would fall apart." "And now?" I asked gently. She looked around the room, at the mess, the emotional wreckage, the evidence of her fear written in ink. "Looks like it fell apart anyway," she said. Rex walked closer, this time slowly, deliberately. He stopped a safe distance from the bed and sat down, tilting his head. Linda stared at him. "Do you hate me?" she asked him quietly, voice almost childlike. He blinked once, twice. Then, in the most Rex way possible, he yawned, stood, and took 2 small steps closer, close enough for her to reach out if she wanted. She hesitated. Then, with a hand that trembled, she touched his fur. He didn't pull away. He just stood there, solid as a wall, warm as a blanket. And in that tiny, fragile moment, something shifted. Not everything. Not enough to fix years of the patterns overnight, but enough to open a door. "Go," she said finally, eyes dropping to the floor. "Find your place. Take your family." Her voice wobbled on the word. "I won't call the HOA. I won't call animal control. I'll keep the notebook to remind myself how bad it got, not to use it." Ethan's shoulders relaxed a fraction. "Mom, we'll still visit," he said, "but next time, we want to come as guests, not as children under supervision." She nodded once, then again, slower. "I'll try," she said. "No promises. Old habits die hard." Rex nudged her hand once more, then trotted back to my side as if to say, "We did what we could. Now it's time to go." We left 2 days later. It wasn't dramatic, no screaming, no thrown luggage, just boxes, quiet tears, and a lot of deep breaths. Our new apartment was small, the kitchen was outdated, the carpets were ugly, but when we walked in with the last box, closed the door behind us, and looked around at the mismatched furniture and blank walls, it felt perfect. "This is it," Ethan said, dropping the keys onto the counter. "Our place," I laughed, wiping away a stray tear. "Our very ugly, very tiny, very perfect place." Rex trotted in, sniffing every corner, tail wagging wide. He inspected the bedroom, the bathroom, the living room, then came back to us, barking once, bright and happy. I knelt and buried my hands in his fur. "We did it, boy," I whispered. "We're free." Ethan crouched beside us, wrapping an arm around my shoulders, another around Rex's neck. "I'm sorry it took so long," he said. "To see it, to believe you, to believe him." I shook my head. "You got there," I said. "That's what matters." Rex sighed contentedly and flopped onto his side, legs stretched out like he owned the entire living room. Maybe he did. Maybe he always had. A week later, a small bouquet of flowers arrived at our door. No note. Just a familiar handwriting on the delivery slip. For Olivia and Ethan. And Rex. L. I smiled a little. Healing wasn't guaranteed. There would be backslides, old habits, awkward visits. But we had something now we didn't have before. A home we chose. A marriage we protected. And a dog who had seen through all the lies and never once abandoned us. That night, as I lay in bed, Rex sprawled across my feet. I whispered into the dark, "Thank you for growling when I was too afraid to speak. Thank you for standing between me and what wanted to control me. Thank you for showing us the truth, even when it hurt." He didn't answer, of course. He just wagged his tail once, twice, in his sleep. But I knew. Some heroes wear capes, others wear badges. Mine has 4 paws, a wet nose, and amber eyes that see right through people. His name is Rex. And he doesn't just protect our home, he protects the truth.